Reverend Al, we just heard from Georgia, a state long criticized for voter suppression. What are you watching out for today, and what is your advice to voters?
I'm watching out to make sure that there are no signs of intimidation and that there are no purging of a lot of voters, is what we saw in Georgia, particularly when we had the gubernatorial race with the incumbent and Stacey Abrams just a couple of years ago. So we have people there on the ground. National Action Network has an office there in Atlanta that's looking out for that in Georgia. But we're also watching closely in South Carolina, where Jamie Harrison is a real threat to Lindsey Graham, and in Mississippi with Mike Espy. There is a potential in the Deep South to see 3 blacks win in Senate races. And whether they're black candidates or not, there's clearly an opportunity to see the Senate flip, and we see things like the George Floyd Policing Act and the John Lewis Voting Act be able to move forward that has not been able to do so under Republican control of the Senate under Mitch McConnell.
Reverend Al, John Lewis and Elijah Cummings were 2 warriors who fought for voting rights throughout their entire lives. Neither of them are here with us on this historic day. What does the moment mean?
The moment means a lot because we lost John Lewis and Elijah Cummings this year. And this will be the first election since those 2 giants were gone. The question is, did we pick up the mantle and hold what they trained and hoped that we would do? Because both of them were so generous with their time and life to talk to those that would come behind. The question is, did we pass the grade? We had great teachers. Are we great students? Are we going to protect that vote? And not only for respect for them, but for ourselves and for our children. If we can't rise to this moment, a moment where voting rights and other issues are so pertinent, then we are the failed students because we had master teachers.
Secretary, are those 2 great teachers on your mind today?
They absolutely are. Thanks for having me, Stephanie. There have been moments when the very security of our polling places has been called into question. And anyone who's concerned about the security of a polling place, first of all, I encourage everyone to vote. It looks like we're going to have a record turnout in 2020. Already 100 million people have cast their ballots, which is more than the entire 1996 presidential vote, some 75% of who voted 4 years ago. But going back to what Reverend Sharpton said, think about John Lewis. Think about the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Think about those on that bridge who are willing to risk their own lives to secure all of our rights to vote in today's election. This should be regarded today as a celebration of our democracy, where every American is focused on the same thing, one day every 4 years, electing a president. And so we should recall those who gave their lives, who were willing to give their lives to secure our right to vote, to secure our right to participate in this great democracy.
Secretary, it doesn't look like a celebration. In the last few days, we've seen dozens of cities boarding up storefronts, preparing like we're heading into a hurricane. Is that something you thought you would see in our country?
Frankly, it is not. And I cannot dismiss the possibility that in the days ahead, there may be some unrest, some disturbance. This is a very, very emotional election, this one in particular. And no matter what happens, roughly 1/2 the country is going to be very, very disappointed. And I think those of us who have a public voice, Reverend Sharpton, myself, Republicans and Democrats, should remind Americans that the most important thing in our country is that we continue the process of a free and fair and peaceful election.
Reverend Al, it's very likely we will not know the results tonight. What is your message to people across this country who are on edge?
My message is that even if we don't know the results tonight, no matter how long it takes, we must have every vote counted. We must not let our anxiety and impatience outweigh the fact that we've fought for the right to vote, and we want to protect that. The victory will go to those of us that make sure we had a fair and a well-documented election. Then we'll see who the winner is, but we must make voting rights be the first winner. We owe that to those that fought to get us the right to vote. You must remember, women didn't get the right to vote until almost the first third of the 20th century. Blacks didn't get the right to vote until after the Civil War, and then it wasn't protected till 65. So everybody going to the polls today are not going because it was automatically their right. These rights were fought for. So if we have to wait a day or two, imagine the decades that our forefathers had to wait to even have the right to wait. We can wait, and we can do it with dignity, and we can do it with pride, knowing that people paid a price to make sure that we would have our votes counted.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.